page 19. Action, by Robert Ringer. Chapter 1. The Action Phenomenon. 1.3. The mental toughness to take action. When it comes to having the courage to make a major change in one's life, my memory takes me back many years ago to a chance meeting in Palm Springs, California, where a friend and I happened to stop in at a hotel lounge one evening. Without fanfare, the act for the lounge was introduced a stunningly beautiful female singer, hereafter referred to as Dionne. She bore a striking resemblance to the legendary Lena Horne, and carried herself with the style and grace of royalty. From the moment she began singing, patrons in the small lounge were mesmerized. In this unlikely venue, Dionne received numerous standing ovations, including several encores. I had never seen anything quite like it. There was no question in my mind that I was witnessing the birth of a star. After finishing her act, Dionne sat at a table and chatted with some acquaintances. Being the young and impetuous tortoise I was, I scribbled a note to her on the back of my business card, asking whether she had a manager, then had a waiter deliver the card to her. To my pleasant surprise, she sent back a note saying that she, in fact, did not have a manager. After a couple more notes back and forth, I set up an appointment for Dionne to meet with me in my office later in the week. Our initial meeting went very well, and, after a couple of weeks of negotiations, I succeeded in signing her to a management contact. Among other things, the contract called for me to finance a demo tape, arrange for the production of an album, and use my marketing skills to promote her talents. In the course of filling out a variety of forms, Dionne told me that she was 32 years old, which surprised me, because I had guessed her age at about 27 or 28. I wondered why someone with her beauty, presence, and, above all, extraordinary talent was not already a household name by age 32. Dionne explained to me that she had studied classical music in college but had not pursued a career, opting instead for marriage and the life of a traditional housewife. She described the hunger she had felt inside her for so many years, believing that her purpose in life was far different from the way things had unfolded for her up to that point in time. She knew that she had been given a gift at birth, and a little voice from within kept telling her that it was wrong not to use that gift. Finally, one day, she made up her mind to take bold action to change her circumstances, and thus began a belated singing career. But the most impressive thing Dionne said to me was in response to my warnings about how tough the music business was and how fickle and unpredictable the public could be. In a characteristically self-confident manner, she smiled and told me that if she never became famous, if she was relegated to playing in small lounges the rest of her life, it wouldn't matter to her, because she was doing what she loved. The stage, no matter how small, was her world, and an appreciative audience, no matter how sparse, her reward. I was totally impressed with her purest attitude and passion for performing. As things progressed, cutting a demo tape, making an appearance on a national talk show, and preparing for an album, it occurred to me that, considering the large investment I was making in Dionne, I had better take out a life insurance policy on her. When I explained that she would have to take a physical exam, she wavered a bit, but, because it was called for in our contract, she had no choice. However, when it came time to fill out the insurance application form, she asked if she could first speak with me in private, so we set up a time for her to come to my office. When Dionne walked through the door, she brought along a surprise. 2 surprises, in fact. Make that 2 very tall surprises. I assumed that one of the twin towers was her boyfriend and the other his acquaintance, so when she introduced them to me as her sons, I nervously chuckled and waited for a more serious introduction. Alas, her first introduction was a serious introduction. Stunned, I asked everyone to sit down and enlighten me as to what this was all about. Almost everything Dionne had told me was true. Her study of classical music in college, initially playing the role of the traditional housewife, then pursuing her destiny as a singer, and the fact that she had no manager. The part of the story that had not been true, however, was her age. Given that I had thought she looked younger than the 32 years of age she admitted to, it would be an understatement to say that I was not prepared to hear her real age. Knowing that she was required to put her age on the insurance application, Dionne had decided she would first break the news to me in person. As it turned out, she was not 32, and certainly not in her late 20s as I had originally supposed. Dionne was 47 years old, a female Peter Pan. Put another way, she was a medical miracle. After the paramedics revived me, Dionne, her twin tower sons, and I had a warm chat, saturated, as you might have imagined, with a number of humorous one-liners about her age. The Twin Towers particularly liked my tongue-in-cheek barb about taking Mom on the road and making a fortune by having people place wagers on her age. I suggested that if we got started right away, we could all be rich before Dionne was confined to a nursing home. As things turned out, my relationship with Dionne lasted only about a year, chiefly because I couldn't afford to continue the level of investment I felt was required. The music business gives new meaning to the term dirty, and it became apparent that, despite Dionne's talent, it was going to be a long, hard road to the top, and long was something that was in very short supply in her case. When we parted ways, Dionne reaffirmed her feelings that even if she never became famous, she would be more than satisfied just doing what she loved. I haven't seen her in more than 25 years. And the thought that she is now merely 75 years old is unfathomable to me. And so, too, is the thought that she may even look almost 40 by now. Dionne knew in her heart what was right for her, but I believe that's true of most people. What made her unusual was that, notwithstanding her age, she had the mental toughness to take action to change the course of her life. She made a shambles of the overused excuse of millions of people who insist that it's too late for them to make major changes in their lives. I would be surprised if she isn't still on stage, still smiling, still knocking 'em dead, still getting standing ovations by the bushful in small lounges across the country. Dionne's bold action should be an inspiration to those who make the mistake of playing it close to the vest and waiting for something to happen. If you want something to happen, make it happen. You don't have to wait for the perfect pitch in the hopes of hitting a Grand Slam home run. Grand Slam home runs don't come along very often. Striking out swinging is a noble action. Striking out with the bat on your shoulder represents a pathetic lack of action. Take more swings at pitches that aren't perfect, and get your share of singles and doubles every day. Singles and doubles make it possible for you to still be at bat when that perfect pitch finally arrives. Then, if you're prepared, you'll be in a position to hit one out of the park. Put another way, life is the sum total of many successful years. A successful year is the sum total of many successful months. A successful month is the sum total of many successful weeks. A successful week is the sum total of many successful days, and so on with hours, minutes, and seconds. The formula is quite simple: the more action you take, the more results you get. Remember, nothing happens until something moves. Page 23.